Kuncytes? No.
Kuncytes.
Kuncytes. I knew I'd get it wrong.
It's good. You were close.
You know what? It's nerves for you. I get just as nervous doing the interviews as everyone else.
Well, let's hope I don't make a fool of myself.
Oh, you'll be fine. Thank you so much for joining us for Writers
Thank you for having me, Beth.
I am so absolutely thrilled. I've been so looking forward to it, and I was Googling you and searching you out last night. And my gosh, you've been going for quite a while, haven't you? You've been writing for like over 7 years.
Yes, I think A Vampire Saving Embrace was my first book. And honestly, it was my bucket list book, is what I call it.
Really?
I have always written. I mean, if I was a pack rat, I would have stories all over the place, but I throw things out. But I've always written things. I've always loved books, words, just that escape. And so it was, I think, 2014 or 13 is when I published A Vampire Saving Embrace. And I did it thinking my family will buy a copy, I'll get a copy, but number one on my bucket list is, checked off. I didn't want to be a ballerina or a princess. I actually wanted to be Stephen King or Stephanie King, because I grew up on horror.
I can't blame you. I'm a big Stephen King fan myself.
Oh, so
I totally get that, because I got into Stephen King about, in my teens. Now, interesting fact, and I don't know whether you're aware, but apparently, and I don't know whether this is true, but I was told that Stephen King used to get night terrors, and those were the inspiration for his books, because you used to have these night terrors. Yeah. Now, my question to you, as you're a fellow Stephen King fan, have you, do your dreams inspire some of your books or ideas, or?
This is really going to be weird. I very rarely remember my dreams.
Me too.
Okay. I'm not alone then. Nope. My sister, on the other hand, should write books about her dreams.
Really?
The details. And she just has weird dreams, and she'll go on for hours telling you about a dream she had. I'm like, okay, Deb, let's wrap it up a little bit. I very rarely, when I first wake up, I'll remember it, but by the time I get up in the morning, nothing. It's gone. Very rarely do I remember them.
That's great.
My inspiration has always been, I'm a daydreamer. Big time.
Oh, okay.
I will just, things have always popped into my head. In fact, like I said, Vamp, my first book, I was driving home from work, and a song played on the radio, and I just started daydreaming about the scenario, and I went home. I didn't tell anybody. I wrote the story, published it. I didn't tell anybody. I remember I was at work, and it was available, and I sent my sister an email, and I says, oh, by the way, when you get home tonight, go to Amazon and get my book. So then she was going nuts and telling everybody.
Is this one of your vampire books, or is this a different book?
Vampire Saving Embrace, which is actually free now. Right. I put it free until the 30th to kind of help out people in quarantine.
Yes, yeah.
Everything going on. I've been periodically, this is the third book I've done free for a week. Just because people who love to read, it's such an escape. And to lose yourself in a different world with everything going on, you need that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's too hard to sit in front of the television and watch the news.
Yes, yeah.
And sometimes I think mental health wise, you just need to escape. And I hope my books, I mean, they're romances coming from a horror girl, but I'm a smart ass. Am I allowed to say ass?
There's no bleepers here. I'll have to get one, actually. That'd be funny, because I normally swear like a sailor, so that'd be quite handy if I have like a bleep.
Those air horns would be great. Wouldn't that be phenomenal?
I can't do that. I've got 2 dogs at home. Well, 3 now. My daughter's moved back home.
Oh,
We've got 3 dogs. They go nuts.
yeah. Oh, yeah, that was ours. And ours have been barking ridiculously lately. I don't know if it's because the weather's getting better or just because so many people are walking.
Yeah, mine keep going crazy. I'm just going to say we've got a lady coming on.
Oh, Jolie! Hi, sweetheart.
Hello. I ain't got my glasses on. I should put my glasses on.
Readers, I do too. I always have readers with me.
Hello, darling.
She's amazing.
What I'm going to do quickly, because I've just seen there's a link here that I can click on. I'm just going to see if I can click on that link. And it's only visible to me. That's not good. I'm going to see if I can just share. No, I can't share that. But hopefully, it's all showing up and it will be.
I'm hoping Jolie found us, so that's a good thing.
Absolutely. But it's so funny that you mentioned Stephen King and everything, because you obviously enjoy reading horror, because that's what Stephen King writes. And
John Saul, Dean Koontz.
Dean Koontz is fantastic. And I got to say, isn't it odd how some of us as writers will be passionately big readers for one genre, but we actually write for something completely different?
But I think that's safest, because my biggest fear is, and not to say I don't read romance, but when I'm writing, I try to stay as far away from the genre I'm writing as I possibly can, because you don't want something to kind of stick in your brain, not realizing it.
Yeah, subconsciously influence you.
Yes, and I'm very paranoid about that.
Yeah.
So, but I've always loved horror. I mean, Fast Story is in 6th grade. I was always advanced in reading. I suck at math, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
Beyond bad. And then science, forget about it, because I was not about to dissect anything. But I was always advanced in reading because I've always loved books.
Yes.
And in 6th grade, my 6th grade teacher gave me carte blanche when we read books, because they were reading The Outsiders, and I think I read that in 4th grade.
Oh, I love that book.
It was a good book. And so she said, just go, pick whatever book you want, write a book report, and then do your book report. So I finished my book report. I go up in front of the class. I'm all proud of myself. Math is evil, Jolie.
We agree.
Yes. So I'm standing there. I'm all proud of myself. And my book report was on Suffer the Children by John Saul, which I don't know if you've ever read that book.
I've not read any of his work. I'll be completely honest.
His books are really good.
Oh, okay.
But it's about this little girl who gets possessed by this spirit that was killed 100 years ago, and she starts killing other little kids.
Oh, my God.
And throwing them into this cave. So I'm up there, and I'm reading this book, and the teacher, she's at the back of the class, her arms crossed, her mouth to the floor, just staring at me. So needless to say, I wasn't allowed to just pick my own books after that.
No.
And I think she probably suggested to my mom I get counseling.
I bet your book report was fantastic, though.
She did give me an A on it, but she just said, you got to run them by me now.
Yeah. I'm just going to check the messages to make sure that we're all good. Yes, we are. We're all good. Perfect. Now, you're from Ohio?
Yes.
And
east of Cleveland.
Right, okay. And as far as I know, you've always lived there.
Born and raised.
Have your books been influenced by where you live, or do you prefer to set the scenes of your books in places you've never been to, or do you invent places?
Actually, I try to keep I don't write about specific places.
Right.
I kind of keep the locations very generic.
Yeah.
Out of all my books that I've written, Marcus's Mortal Embrace, which is book 3 in the Supernatural Desire series, takes place in New Orleans.
Oh, wow.
A town that just stole my heart.
Oh.
But I have to make sure if I am going to do something like that it's authentic.
Yes.
So when I write, I don't really write about certain areas. I want to keep it very where the reader can kind of say, "Oh, this could be my town."
Yeah, yeah,
So I try to do
yeah,
that.
yeah. It's nice when readers can use, their imagination to make it real for them.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
like I have a hard time when someone will ask me, "Okay, my one character in my very first book, Desmond, who did you, picture Desmond when you were writing him?"
yeah,
And I always tell people, "No, who do you picture?"
yeah,
Because
yeah,
who I
absolutely.
picture and who you picture might be completely different people. And I don't want you to say, "Oh, yeah, I could kind of see that."
Yes,
I want you to
yeah,
create that person in your mind.
yeah.
And hopefully I've detailed it enough where I help you along.
Yeah, yeah, because we all have our own book crushes, don't we? Our favorite characters who we picture
Yes.
in our mind. I mean, I read. I'm going to confess now. I read all of the 50 Shades books. I don't care who's going to judge me. I,
No, I did too. No,
I actually enjoyed them, but I'm an easygoing person. But the Christian Grey character I had in my head was nothing like the actor who played it in the films.
and it's just, or you'll think someone is just drop dead gorgeous. And there are those people that you say that person's name and they cringe.
Yeah, they go. "Ooh."
Yeah. So I don't want to say, well, when I was writing this person, this is who I was thinking of.
Yeah, yeah,
I I don't see them as celebrities. And that's gonna sound really weird, but I just have to Jolie, my mom did not get called to the principal's office. And, and Nola is awesome. I'm so sad because we were supposed to go in May and we had it postponed because of all this going on.
Oh,
Yeah, it's sad because it's been too long. I love New Orleans so much.
I confess I've never been, but it's on my bucket list. I would love to go.
It's a city that just you don't realize it when you're there. It's really weird. Like you're
Yeah,
amazed because of the architecture and the food and the everything.
yeah,
But you come back and you're like, oh, it was great. But then all of a sudden, like 6 months later, you start like craving to go back.
really.
I don't know if it's the voodoo or what, but
Who knows?
it's amazing. It's a city that just gets into your soul and it holds on.
Yeah, yeah.
But
That's just
yeah, so I don't like I said, I try to write my characters. One of the best compliments I got on a review the one time, and it really hit home for me, was she had written that my characters are the people that you want to sidle up to a bar with and have drinks with and hang with.
See, that's nice because that shows how much your readers are connecting with your characters.
Exactly.
They're reachable.
Right.
And they're reachable characters.
And that's what I want. I don't want characters I want real people.
Yeah.
I want people that you laugh with, you cry with, you just get invested in.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
what reading should do.
Absolutely.
I mean, whether it's romance, horror, just you want to invest in those characters. Not that I ever root for the killers. So.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Okay, don't think that.
Now, with your books, I mean, it must have been perfect timing for you because obviously, when you first started releasing your vampire books, people were still, mad on like Twilight and everything else.
Yes.
So, did you find that an advantage for you in that you were able to join in the vampire wave?
Well, I think the book world all around has changed a lot since I first published.
Mm.
I think when I first published, it was on the peak, and it's changing now.
Yeah, yeah.
I honestly, when I published Vamp, like I said, I did it because it was my bucket list. It was something that's what I wanted just to go to my grave to say I was a published author.
Yes.
I didn't expect the response I got. I mean, I did not know what I was doing, and I'm grateful every day that I lucked upon an amazing cover artist, Linda Bollinger, who does my covers, and I adore her. She helped me so much because I was clueless, and I am technology challenged. I am. I admit it. I mean, I am so lucky to have what I call my heart squad.
Yeah.
People that have come into my life that have just stepped up and, we've helped each other, and it means so much that I would do anything for these people.
Yeah.
But when I first published, I didn't expect the response, and then I started getting all these people contacting me on Facebook. Facebook was a joke. I mean, I went on once a month, if that. Just to see. Well, someone said you have to get a page set up. So I did. I have a Vampire Saving Embrace page, which anyone can like. It's, like it, and my books are on there, and I'm smart mouth, and I have a sick sense of humor. But all of a sudden I was getting all these likes on the page, and people are contacting me, and they're like, you gotta write Marcus's story, you gotta write Luke and Kat's story, oh my gosh, their chemistry. So I thought, people are actually reading this? And then I did a free day.
Yeah.
Because, I was playing around with Kindle, didn't announce it on Facebook, nothing. This will give you an idea. Didn't post it, I just made it free for a day. And I was at work, and I checked it out, and it was like, in the course of 4 hours, I think it was like 1,800 books were downloaded.
Wow, that is absolutely fantastic.
And that kind of hit me.
Yeah.
Because I thought, 1,800 people are reading this book. They're going to hate it.
And telling other people about it.
Yeah, so, and I, like I said, no advertising. So that gave me the confidence to go ahead and keep writing. And now, 14 books later, I'm still writing and hoping people are still enjoying it. It's just I love my characters. So like with my Supernatural Desire series, I hate when you read a book and that's it. That's all you see of those characters, and you wonder, I'm one of those, what happens 5 years from now, or what happens now?
Yeah.
So with the series, they're standalones, but at the core of it, it's about this paranormal, for lack of a better word, unconventional family.
Right.
And each main character has their own story, but the characters from all the books, they all kind of pop up. Because I just can't say goodbye.
Yeah. Well, there's obviously more to their stories that need to be told. Otherwise, you would feel complete, wouldn't you? Yeah,
right.
That's now. So, you and your fans and your readers, you obviously are committed to these characters, and that, that's good because it's got under their skin. They've connected with them.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. I really hope so. I mean,
massive. Now, Jolene says Linda is a cover magician.
She is.
For the writers that are watching, you can back me up on this. Your book covers are so important, aren't they?
Yes.
As an author, because they are the first impression for your stories.
Right. You want something that will, make someone stop and say, oh, I like the colors of this. I like it. You need something that intrigues your readers or a reader.
Yeah.
And I mean, Linda knows, and it's spooky because I always laugh and say she's like psychic, because I'll send her an email. I'll say, okay, this is the title. This is what the man looks like. This is what the woman, and that's all I have to say. And then, give me a day or two, and boom, it's like, how do you know this?
Yeah. It's amazing when you can connect with other professionals in the business that are on the same par with you, and I think it's very important that people realize that, one, you don't have to spend thousands and thousands now on book cover designers, but also to do research. I mean, you were so lucky to find such a wonderful person.
Yes.
But obviously for our our writers that are watching, it's very important, isn't it, to do research, check out people's reviews, and get recommendations. Yeah, and get recommendations from fellow authors.
Don't be afraid. I mean, I tell my readers this: never be afraid to contact me. I love hearing from my readers.
Yeah.
But other authors too. If you're new and you have questions, contact me. I'll do anything in my power to help you. Because I know when I was just starting out, and again, I'm not computer savvy, and I would be trying to upload something and I was just ready to pull my hair out. And I've had people just wait, call me, and I'll walk you through it.
Yeah.
And this writing community, I mean, with anything, there's good and there's bad.
Yes.
But the majority is such a tight-knit, amazing community that they'll do whatever they can to help. I mean, we're in this together. I mean, I want people to read my books, but I want people to read my friends' books that I know are amazing.
Yeah.
Jolie's a phenomenal author. Her books are unbelievable.
I know. I can't wait for her to have her interview as well.
Oh, she's such a sweetie, and she's so quiet. And such a sweet little thing. But no, I mean, it's just, I met her at Once Upon a Book in Frankenmuth, Michigan. Jolie, was that what, 5 years ago maybe?
Wow.
And we were table mates. I think I had 2 books.
I don't know if you can see it. Sorry, I've pinched my husband's mug.
The man, the myth, the legend. Nice.
I pinched it.
I've always got coffee in my hands.
Now, are you a planner, or do you just go with the writing flow?
I write so organically, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
I can't, because I tried planning, and all that did was frustrate the heck out of me, because I would try to follow that plan, but then my mind would go, oh, that's right, I'm sorry, I forgot. Jolie and I met in New Orleans my first year.
Oh.
She went there to party.
Oh.
Let our kids do. That's right, but we got to share
history.
Aha, I forgot. Well, it was New Orleans. Who remembers that? But yeah, so when I tried to follow that plan, my brain it will go off in a different direction, just like deadlines. I'm not good with deadlines, because I refuse to force the story.
Yeah.
Because then I'll end up hating it.
Yes.
And I always tell new writers, write what you love and love what you write. Yeah. Or, write as if you're writing for yourself. Yeah. And that's it. Because if you're not happy with it, it could be a bestseller, but I think, and you would probably know this as an author, at the core of it, it's going to be such a hollow achievement.
Yeah, and I think it takes the whole, for me, I'm not you, for me, it just takes the pleasure out of it. It takes the enjoyment out of the whole process.
Right.
And there's nothing worse than feeling like you've got yourself looking over your own shoulder.
No, and it's so true. And my friend Andy, who you interviewed yesterday, we were talking one time, and we both have said it. It's not that we obviously do love to write, but we need to write.
Yes.
I've always needed that outlet.
Yeah.
And that escape.
Yeah.
And it's just, no matter what kind of day you have, if you can come home and curl up and even for a half an hour, just lose yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
It's the most amazing thing. And I love that I can do that for someone. When someone contacts me and says, oh, I stayed up all night because I had to finish the book, that makes me feel really good. Or
yeah,
this was years ago, but I had a girl contact me, and she was housebound because she had been brutally attacked, and she just could not bring herself to leave her house. And she sent me a message, and she said, your books got me through such a hard time. I lost myself to them. She goes, she told me, your characters just made me feel safe and secure.
Oh.
And I just remember thinking, if I never sell another book, that just made everything worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That I could do something like that for someone.
Yeah. And that's the thing, isn't it? Even though we don't get to meet the majority of our readers, right, just the fact that they connect with our work and connect with your characters and everything else, that means more than people realize.
Right, exactly. And I mean, who are we kidding? We know in every book we write, there's a little bit of us in there.
Oh, absolutely.
So when they say that they've connected with those, in turn, they are connecting with us.
Yeah.
Because, I joke because I am a smart ass. My dad used to always say, here comes my little smart ass. You say it's black, she's going to just make a comment that I just always have been. And book 2 in my series, the one main character is me. Yeah. Everything that comes out of her mouth is just snarky. And you put your blood, sweat, and tears in these stories.
You do, you absolutely do. But also, you talking about personalities and everything, and I discussed this with Andy as well. I'm a saleswoman first and an author second. Mm-hmm. People buy you first or your book cover first before they buy the story. And and I do think that you're you've done so well, you're really successful in what you're doing, but it's got to be a lot of it because you put yourself out there. You're as nervous as we get, you still come on and do this interview and everything else. You do have to put yourself out there, don't you, to connect with potential readers and get credibility.
This is more nerve-wracking to me than a signing. And that's going to sound really weird. I love meeting my readers face to face.
Yeah.
Or just you get into that atmosphere. We went to Penn in St. Louis this past, I can't remember, I think August or whatever it was. And I had that epiphany moment. I was sitting there and just kind of watching everything. And I realized, my gosh, these people love to read. Oh. And it was awe-inspiring because you see these people walking around with their wagons just filled with books.
That's lovely.
And it's humbling and it's amazing and it's electrifying all in one room.
Yeah.
And it's just, that is neat to me because, don't get me wrong, I love me some vegging in front of the TV with some Netflix. And I'm a total This Is Us addict. I don't know if you watch.
Me too. I love it.
I'm so in love with Jack, but it's just, night and day when you pick up a book, because that's when your imagination has to fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it's amazing.
Oh, Jodie said September.
Okay. I'm nervous.
Good memory.
She is. She's amazing. I can't remember my name half the time. My one dog is under the covers, kind of like.
Oh, you're preaching to somebody. You can literally go from one room to another, get there, and think, "What did I come in here for?"
Isn't that bad? And I've always been really bad, like with faces and names, and
do you know what? I think it is because when you're creative, like we are, I think you've got so much going on in your brain that you've got to do ideas and all these other different things. Anything else, if you don't need to retain it, it just goes.
Yes. No, that is like right on nail in the head. Yeah. My mind's always going.
Oh.
And I was even wondering, like, okay, I'm old. Am I too late to like realize I have ADD or something? Because what is going on?
No, it's not an age thing because I've always been the same. But,
yeah.
But that brings me to my next question or topic, actually, because there are so many people out there who genuinely think, oh, I'm in my 30s now, it's too late. Or, oh, I'm in my 40s now, it's too late. I'm in my 50s now, it's too late. It's not, is it? It's never too late.
No. I was in my 40s when I published my first book. And again, I did it for myself because it's my bucket list. And you just never know. Don't never say never. If you have that dream, by all means, don't be afraid. You know, I've had people contact me saying that they have a book, but they don't want to publish it. They're afraid people are going to laugh at it. You know what? You're never going to make everybody happy.
No.
You're going to have those people that no matter, you could write War and Peace, and they're not going to like it.
No, exactly. And that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, you got to look at, you know, the most famous authors like Stephen King, etc. Mm-hmm. Even they get 1 and 2 star book reviews on Amazon, Goodreads, Barnes and Noble. Even the top sellers, you know, that get 1 and 2 star reviews. Because you're right, you can't please everybody.
No.
The nice thing is that I think people have to take it not as a negative, because I always think that if somebody's given you, you know, a 1 or 2 star review just because they didn't like the book, at least they tried a different genre. They might have just thought, oh, interesting cover. I'm normally into romance and you know, cowboys or whatever, but I'm intrigued. I'm going to try this book. They might not enjoy it, but at least they've given it a go.
And that's it. I mean, I have a 1 star review, and the woman put, not my type of book. Okay. I myself don't get that, because I've picked up a book and tried to get through it. I mean, very rarely. I'm one of those people that if I start reading it, I'm going to finish it.
Yeah.
I have to.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say probably in my lifetime, there have been 2 books I just was like, ugh, I can't. But I'm not going to give it a bad review. I'm just going to I won't review it at all.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't my genre.
Yeah.
I got it, and I thought I might like it, and I just couldn't handle like the stiffness of it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to beat someone down because, and again, but you're always going to have that. So
right, you're always going to get the odd 1 or 2 that have to like be negative. And as an author, you have to really get a thick skin, don't you, in a way, because you can get 20, 50 fantastic reviews, but you get one,
Yep.
not very nice one, and that can really knock your confidence.
Oh,
which is ridiculous.
No, the first bad review I got, I sobbed. I sobbed, and I thought, and you get that moment of, I suck. I shouldn't be doing this. But then, luckily, the words start coming again, and you have to write. Yeah. When you're an author, it's in you, and you have to, and you experience writer's block. I think we all do. Life happens. Like, I've been trying to work on book 4 forever in my series, and it's just things keep happening, and I have to write what comes to me. So in the process of working on book 4, I've written 5 other books because I had to.
See, I always say to people, never think of it as writer's block. Always think of it as your brain needing that creative rest.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
I always say, because if you try and force it, like you said, if you try and force it, you're not going to get that great creativity and the production that you're hoping to get. But if you look at writer's block, completely different, and I don't even call it writer's block. I'm having a creative rest.
I like that. I am going to steal that.
And it's important because you're changing the way that you perceive it yourself. So automatically, even just by, are you there? Yeah, you're stuck then.
Yeah, you cut off. So I didn't repeat what you just said.
But just by changing the wording of the situation, you're turning it into a positive instead of a negative. So having a creative rest could mean, I'm going to do a bit of housework. I'm going to go and take the dog for a walk. I'm going to go and, chill out with a good book. As you said, I'm going to concentrate on a different story just to take my mind away from it. Because the moment you turn it into a positive and get creative doing anything else, you tend to get inspired back to what you wanted a lot quicker.
Exactly. That's a beautiful way to put it. And that's what you need to do. I mean, that's what I have to do. When people ask me, I tell them I have to walk away from it. Yeah. And I have to do whatever. And when it's time, it'll come. I won't force it.
No.
Because, I've run across books where the author had a deadline and they just threw whatever against the wall. And you just know, you feel that disappointment because their heart wasn't in it.
Yeah, especially if it's an author that you're very familiar with, you've read lots of their work. You, as a reader and a fan, you can tell the difference.
And I hate to say this, but the Hunger Games trilogy.
Yes.
First 2 books, phenomenal. 3rd book, I hate to say it, but I thought, what happened?
It's a tough one though, isn't it? Because not only are many authors under really tight deadlines, but also if you've got a book that's really successful and has got really good review ratings, then as an author, you're then feeling as if you're competing against your previous work. Oh my God, what if it's not as good? You know what I mean?
Right. No, that's exactly it.
It's hard trying to put that out of your mind just so you can just keep enjoying your own writing experience.
Exactly. And that's what, like I said, that's why I publish independently.
Yeah.
When I first started out, I had a publisher actually approach me. And I talked to some of my author friends, both who were traditionally published and independent, who went from traditional to independent.
Yeah.
And they kind of all told me the same thing. What you're doing is the same thing they're going to do for you. And, you got to think long and hard. And I'm not a control freak. Complete.
Yeah.
Where my writing comes, I am to a point. I will take suggestions from, my author friends, and we will work things. I have beta readers.
Yeah.
Jerry, my one friend Jerry, who I trust completely. The one book I was working on, I gave it to her to read, and she's like, I'm not connecting with this. I don't know why. And we talked it out, and I tweaked this and that, and she'll tell me.
Yeah.
So you have that, you have that great feedback out there.
Yes.
And when you're working under a deadline and with a traditional publisher, you don't always have that option. Things will, paragraphs will disappear.
Yeah.
Your cover will suddenly change from what you've envisioned it to what this person envisioned it. And again, not that I'm a total control freak, but when it comes to my writing, it's my writing. And I know that sounds selfish, maybe.
No, not at all, because I think that, it depends how confident you are in your own writing, doesn't it, really? I mean, because, I think all authors have various levels of being precise. Their grammar levels are different. You can have a really, really good story, but aren't as good getting it across
right.
in your writing. So you can have an amazing imagination and everything else, but you may struggle to get that down on paper. So some people need that,
right?
A literate,
you need a good editor.
Yeah, exactly. But some people don't. It's
right.
We're all different, I think.
And we do, as authors, you have those, and my editor tells me this all the time, those little habits that you get into that they'll tweak for you and tell you about, and then you try to get yourself out of the habit of doing it. See, and I think that's one of the reasons why I always enjoyed Stephen King, because he writes characters. I mean, if you think about his, like, Stand By Me, the short story, The Body, he writes that age boy exactly how I remember my neighbor boys acting.
Yeah.
And how they talk, and I know people will criticize him for the way he has his characters talk, but that's real.
Yeah.
No one walks around speaking so properly. It's not the 1800s anymore. I mean, if you're doing a dated, historical book, fantastic.
Yeah.
But who speaks proper diction anymore?
Yeah, and that's the thing, as you said before, you've got to do a bit of research.
Exactly, you do. And I mean, that's half the fun sometimes.
Yeah.
But
I love it. Yeah.
Do you see? Yeah, I'm not big on history either. But I do like reading about different things and different time periods. And like I said, I have another author friend of mine. Hopefully you'll interview her too, Marge Ivancic. She is. She has such an imagination on her too, and then, like, the way she writes, she's like Andy. It's very poetic, is the only way I can explain it. Where I write very, like I said, let's sidle up to the bar and chill out and hang for a while.
Yeah.
They write these just beautiful words, and it's like poetry. So it's completely two different styles, but they both work amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I was going to add a little point to what we were saying about the reviews earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Because reviews are huge for authors. It's a struggle for a lot of authors, as I was talking to Andy about, to try and ask to get that feedback and ask for the reviews and everything. But also, my point I want to really emphasize here for people who are watching is that, yes, we do get the odd negative review and everything else, but I think the key thing, and I don't know whether this is something that you look for when, obviously, because we have to check our reviews, because that's how we sell other books, is by sharing those reviews. But do you look through any negative reviews and see if the same thing is mentioned? Because I think that's when you should pay attention to negative reviews, is when the same thing is said by one or two different readers.
I do, and I haven't come across a lot that were very, I mean, some of them are just silly, and I mean, I write paranormal romance, I write romantic thrillers. Right on my book, on my descriptions, it says 18 and over. Now, what does it tell you? It's not erotica by any means, but it's 18 and over.
Yes.
And I've had people say, oh my gosh, it's smut. And I'm like thinking, no, it's really not. But did you not, you just sometimes you want to scream, did you not read the descriptions? And
yeah.
That's the only similarity I've seen.
Yeah.
Or I have someone.
I think if they're not criticizing, in other areas, they're not criticizing your grammar or,
right.
You couldn't get into it, or you couldn't imagine the scene that they were talking about. As long as those sort of things aren't mentioned, it just comes down to their upbringing, doesn't it? At the end of the day,
right.
How conservative that household was at the end of the day.
And I'm thinking, because I'm very mild compared to a lot of these, I always joke and say, like, I don't use the C words. And you can imagine what that could be.
Yes.
My sister always explains it. Like, my big thing is it's open door. My love scenes are open door, but they mean something. It's not just sex to have a sex scene in the book.
Yeah, it's characters connecting in an intimate way.
Yes. So there's a difference.
Yeah.
And nothing against erotica. I think overall, a lot of the erotica books are focusing more on stories now, when years ago they didn't. It was just, book porn. But now they're considered erotica, but there's stories there.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, because there are people that want, like Danielle Steele.
Yes.
Hers were always, there were no, sex scenes, nothing. It was just pure romance.
Yeah.
You've got that whole spectrum to choose from.
Yeah. It's amazing how everything has just broadened.
Mm-hmm.
And also some of the genres are literally either meeting or crossing over. It's opening a whole new world, isn't it, for upcoming authors?
Right. And you said you read Dean Koontz. You like Dean Koontz. Now, Dean Koontz to me is a horror author, like a horror romance author.
Yeah.
If you really think about his books.
Yeah, but even Stephen King has quite vivid sex scenes in some of his books.
Oh, yeah. But, Stephen King's he's not going to give you that happy ending that you want.
No. Passionate.
No, he doesn't. No. But like Dean Koontz, he was like the first. Maybe that's why I started writing romance. I don't know, but I would read his books, and there was that underlying. It was just an undercurrent of a romance in there.
I think it makes readers become invested, because they start either hoping that things are going to go well for that romance, or they're hoping that the characters part and move on to a better situation. They become connected and invested, don't they?
They do. And it's even too. Have you ever read a book that was just so depressing? See, that's my big thing. You need a little bit of humor, and no matter what you're writing, at some point you need that.
Yeah.
Because if something is so dark, I've read books where I finished the book and I just wanted like to go crawl under my covers.
Yeah.
And I love a good tearjerker, but they,
You need that little bit of balance.
Yes, you need that breath in between somewhere.
Yeah.
Where you can just take that breath and be like, okay, I can handle the next part.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, so what's happening with you right now? What work in progress have you got going on? Well, obviously, you've got your free book that's available at the moment for everybody to pick up while it's available. So what
Vampire Statement Race? It's my very, very first book. So
maybe you can put the link to get it for free underneath our video.
I will definitely do that. It's free to the 30th. I'm currently working on book 4 in that series, Harper's Heavenly Embrace. The whole embrace thing is the theme.
Love it. I love it.
I'm working on that, but I was starting to work on Harper, and my latest book is called The Christmas Gift, and it's a short Christmas story, and I love it so much. I just love these two characters, and it's a contemporary romance. So it doesn't matter that's not Christmas. If you want to feel good, I mean, come on, look at Hallmark movie channels playing Christmas movies 24/7. Grab a Christmas.
Feel better, yeah.
Yeah, it's lighthearted, sweet. It's a sweet romance, and I just really love these characters.
Oh.
So I did that, but I also my readers that are waiting for Harper with bated breath, they're not going to like to hear this, but I've got another romantic thriller that has been gnawing at my brain.
Yeah.
And I have to start working on that because those are the characters that need to talk right now.
Yeah.
And Harper's coming in time, but I feel bad because I have some readers that contact me. When are you going to finish Harper? You need to get Harper done. And I'm like, I know,
but the thing is, I think what a lot of readers don't realize is that a lot of our characters have complete minds of their own.
Oh, they do. Oh, they do.
Yeah.
And that was it. I started working on, I think, Marcus's Mortal Embrace, which was book 3 in the series. And I was halfway through with that, and I'll Be Seeing You, which was my first romantic thriller, just came, and I think I wrote that book in like 3 months. Wow. And I had to do it, and I was nervous as anything because I thought, paranormal romance readers are voracious and they are faithful.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, this is contemporary. It's a romantic thriller. And I was terrified that no one was going to like it. And knock on wood, luckily, people responded to it better than I had hoped. It was even a finalist for a Roan Award from Intel Magazine.
I was going to ask you about that because that's fantastic.
Yeah, so that was a thrill because I was nervous about that book. I love the book. I love the characters, but I thought my paranormal romance people are going to hate me, but they liked it.
So when you started writing it and everything, did you consider possibly doing it under a pen name? Obviously, it's slightly different to your other books. I
did, but I confuse very easily. And the way I look at it is I'm a romance author.
Yes.
Whether it's paranormal, contemporary, or a romantic thriller.
Yeah.
They all have romance. That's the bottom line. So if I was ever to maybe write a children's book or a horror book, you never know. I'll be Stephen King, I'm telling you. I would definitely use a pen name then.
See, there's an advantage and a disadvantage, isn't there? I think excuse me.
Bless you, I think.
I did. It just snuck up on
Bless
me.
you.
I know. Normally I do about 5 in one go. If you're going to try different genre, you sort there's pros and cons, isn't there? Because if you've already got quite a good fan base, then it might not always be a good thing taking another pen name, because you need that support from your already group of followers to help you get it out there. But then on the other hand, if you're that worried or nervous that people aren't going to like it, then sometimes doing a pen name may be a safe option.
But you know what? Stephen King. I mean, when they found out he was writing under Richard Bachman, he got reamed for that.
Yeah.
And I mean, how sad is that? I never quite understood that. But they did. They just, they thought that was smarmy, and I never understood why. So
no.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. If I ever, like I said, if I ever write a horror story or a children's book, maybe. But because everybody laughs, they're like, "Why did you keep your name?" This isn't a common name, but I thought, well, no one will forget it. And
yeah. And when
however they pronounce it,
when you're starting out as well, I think if friends and family know if you publish work in your name, then I think people are definitely that bit more supportive because it's you with your name on it. Whereas if you're trying to push a book with a completely different name, people automatically assume that it's somebody else's book.
Right.
They may not be as supportive because they don't think it's you.
Right. And as a little secret that I've never told anybody, growing up, I always hated my last name.
Oh.
I went to school and it was, I had that, over the summer, and they gave me penicillin to get rid of it. And I just remember my dad always telling me, be proud of who you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I got my love of reading from my dad. My mom hated reading. I mean, we would make books when I was little. If it was raining, she'd help me do that, but she would put them together. I had to write them. We draw the pictures together.
Yeah.
And that was as far as. She wasn't a reader. My dad, he would take her grocery shopping after he retired, and he wasn't allowed to shop with her because she made that mistake once, and he was putting stuff in her cart that he wasn't allowed to be putting in her cart. So he said he was never going shopping with her again. So the poor guy would take her to the store, drop her off, sit in the parking lot with a cup of coffee and a book.
Yeah.
Every week, he would he always had a book somewhere. I would, you'd go visit, go in the garage, there'd be a book on the shelf in the garage.
Yeah.
So I know it hurt him when I constantly said, "Oh, I hate my last name." And when I was with my ex, I thought, "Oh, I can't wait to get rid of this name." And so when I published, I said, "You know what? Dad always said, be proud of who you are and where you come from. I'm Lithuanian 100%. And I said, I'm using my name. And because, both my parents are gone, and it breaks my heart because I know they would have both been very proud, but my dad especially.
Yeah.
Because he loved books so much. He was always, he was so proud of his kids, no matter what we did. But I think that would have really meant the world to him. So never told anybody this, but that's why I use my actual last name.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fabulous. I really, really do. And it suits you. I mean, your name is unique. It's lovely. It is. It's lovely. And I think it's absolutely fabulous. And I'll tell you what else. I think it's great when just your name can be a conversation starter.
It sure is. Like I said earlier, worst I ever got was coca cheese. So
mine, I've been called all sorts. And I just laugh it off and I say, look, as long as it's nothing rude, I don't care. You know, whatever.
That's what I've learned to. I just laugh and say, no, it's Kuncytes, like think of fun, sigh, and then just on the end. But no, so that's why I kept that name.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. And it's so nice that you know, your dad's looking down on you doing so well. Have you any last tips for aspiring authors, or you know, what do you think would be the best information for other authors?
First and foremost, swallow back that fear and do it. Write that book.
Yeah.
And then don't fully, I don't want to say don't fully trust, but get people that you know will be honest to read it and help you if there's anything.
Yeah. Talk
to other authors.
Yes.
I think with you interviewing like this, someone who is just starting out, I'm saying this now, contact me. I'll help you any way I can. I'll help you find a good editor. You know, because that's a big thing, because they will help you not only with grammar, punctuation, little habits that you got to break, but they'll also help you with story holes, and that's real important.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's possible, but don't be afraid to ask. That's the best advice I can give, because again, when I first published, I happened upon Linda just out of pure luck. And she is such an amazing, giving. She helped me format. She helped me just, you know, she did the cover, and I had gotten a bunch of different referrals from Amazon, actually, from Amazon Publishing. They said, you know, if you're looking for a cover artist, here's a list. And they gave me like 10 names, and I was looking, and her cover spoke to me.
Yeah.
And I contacted her, like I said, and I think it was the first cover she sent me. And I'm like, that's it.
Fantastic.
That is it. And she's like, are you sure I could do it? I'm like, no, that's exactly what I was thinking of. And luckily, like, I consider her family now. She's a sister, you know, not by blood, but by heart.
Yeah.
And had I been afraid, like once she did the cover, I would contact her and say, do you know how to do that? And she was just right there. So she helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Other authors helped me. I mean, they were just Virginia McKevitt, who's a wonderful, wonderful woman. She's helped me when my files weren't, like I said, weren't uploading. And 11 o'clock at night, she's like, I'm calling you right now. I'll walk you through it. Without these amazing people, and even, like I said, even Andy and Marge and Jolie, I mean, the people that are in my life now, you know, we can bounce things off each other, and we inspire each other, and we encourage each other. So if you're starting out, don't be afraid. If one author gets salty with you and tells you to, you know, go fly a kite, there's that author out there that's going to help you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But you do need to reach out when you need it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the more people you know, you meet and count, you know, and interact with, the more you learn.
Right. Right.
And one big learning curve. You never stop.
No, you don't. And you never stop growing. I still, I'll read back, because I'm one of those people that I write and then I read it over 50 times before I even give it to anybody else.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll be reading, I'm like, did I really write that? And I throw myself for a loop.
Yeah.
And it works on both aspects. Or I'll be like, ouch, what was I thinking? So you can't be afraid to just take that chance. Like I
Yes.
said, for the most part, the author community, the writing community, readers and writers alike, even readers, there are so many readers that will beta read for you.
Which is so important,
Yes.
so important, because they're the ones that will hopefully, the majority of them, will give you your first reviews when it becomes live and you publish.
And they'll give you an honest that, oh my gosh, that book I couldn't put down, or
Yeah.
it was good,
Yeah.
it just wasn't.
Yeah.
So that's what you need. But yeah, if you're starting out, just don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that's all I can. That's the best advice I can give is just do it.
Excellent advice. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, I had so much fun. You made it so easy, and I wasn't so scared.
Oh, I'm glad. We could have talked for hours, I think.
Yeah, I do have that problem.
Well, me too.
On mouth in school. Like I said, I love meeting readers because I'll talk your ear off.
I think it's great. But do you know what? That's why you're so successful, because your books are awesome and because you're so super friendly and approachable, and it means a lot of people. But thank you very much for joining us today, darling.
Thank you for having me.
Don't forget to put your free book link underneath the video.
I will do it as soon as we're done.
Fantastic. Obviously, I'll be sharing the video everywhere. Now, for some strange reason, when I finished with Andy and our interview yesterday, it took a while for it to all start popping up everywhere. I don't know why. So if the same thing happens, I'm sorry.
Hey, it is what it is. Technology, and then you figure everybody's home now.
I know, it's ridiculous.
So people that are listening, and they're 99% of them are probably on the computer, so
yeah, absolutely. But what I'm going to say is, because obviously you know you've published so many books, you've been doing it a long time, so anybody who's watching right now, like not live, but anybody who's watching this video, if you've got any questions for either of us, post your questions underneath the video, and then obviously we can both answer.
Yes.
You know, whoever it's directed at, and we can go from there, because obviously not everybody gets to
and two, I can't stress, don't be afraid to contact me. I will help if I can. It just can't be any kind of like technical.
Yeah, I ask my children.
I just kind of like, people come up with terms and I'm going, what is that? I'm surprised I got this to work.
I say to my kids, how'd you work this? And they just come running. It's great.
Yeah, I don't have that option. I have fur kids. They're just like, they just want to walk across the board. They don't care.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, darling.
You.
I hope we get to speak again soon and see what you're up to. Hopefully you'll be able to be out and about once all the virus and everything's over. I know, but as you said, you know, we've got the ideal opportunity to do these videos and chat to people, and to, you know, be engaged in what everybody else is doing. Thank you, my darling.
Thank you, sweetheart. And everybody stay healthy, stay safe.
Yes.
And thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Thank you, darling, and we'll speak to you soon.
Nice to talk to you. Thank you. Bye. Guys.
Bye.